All right, welcome back to our 3-episode breakdown. This time, we watched the first 3 episodes of GARO the Animation, or as it is in Japanese, GARO the Carved Seal of Flames on my list. And before we continue, consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel to catch more reviews like this one. So, what are all your guys' first impressions on it?
Honestly, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was really cool. I have seen nothing of GARO aside from a few clips of some of the live action series that they made and oodles of the soundtrack from this very show, thanks to a certain DM who happens to be in this group. But
all the music I sourced is completely fucking original, like no resemblance to anything in GARO whatsoever. Shifty eyes.
Sure. Keep telling yourself that. Anyway. So, but even despite that, like from what I've heard, I feel like I kind of knew what I was expecting going in, just like holy knights going through beautiful animation, killing demons and stuff like that. And for the most part, that's what I got. I think the thing I was surprised of the most is just, I don't know, just like how tongue-in-cheek it was at certain points. I was expecting it to be like super dour and super serious like all the time, but there was actually room for comedy there. And so generally, I think my first impression was just, you get what you came for, but it still has some surprises along the way.
Like, you ordered the thing, it's exactly what you ordered. No surprises, but it's still the thing you ordered, so you're happy.
Yeah, like you get what you came for, but you still wanted it.
What about you, Heather?
I agree with a lot of Bowtie's points. I kind of like, made a mental checklist of pros and cons. I was watching everything, and then I took some time to just kind of think over everything. While it is rather predictable, like, it's not a bad thing. It's like, everyone knows the stereotypical fairy tale, but you still want to watch, like, the new Disney movie, even though, oh, it's Disney, they're going to do this. So, like, that's not ever a bad thing. I think, surprisingly, though, there's actually really one major con I would say I have with the show so far. And that is, so far to me, the main character is not interesting.
I do not disagree with you there. Leon is kind of bland in the first half.
It's like, he reminds me too much of Sasuke right now. And I'm like,
stereotypical lone wolf, just like, I don't need anyone's help. I'm grumpy all the time. Like that sort of thing.
And not only that, he's also got like a major Madonna whore complex.
I also never like the trope of a kid to a single dad doesn't like his dad getting with other women. Okay, your mom's been gone for a while. You've never really met her. And the dad brings up a good point in which he needs to pass on something to a new generation. And for the most part, it does seem like his dad, well, yes, a horrible flirt and a lech, respects women and also still is there for his kid. Yeah, maybe once or twice he might have asked him for money, but, what dad hasn't accidentally, like, grabbed into a kid's piggy bank without telling us and then paying us back later? Just like, he's just such a brat, I think is also another way to put it. It's understandable why he's a brat, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, God, okay, great, another edgelord, all right, okay.
I will say this, like, he is very bland for, like, the first half, and honestly, Alfonso kind of steals the show. But, like, he doesn't start becoming, like, a fully realized character until about it doesn't start until, like, episode 13, and it doesn't, like, culminate to anything awesome until episode 17.
It takes that long?
Yeah, which that's one of the harder things I would have to say about this. That is the major con that I cannot disagree about right there.
That already ticks 3 boxes off the anime protagonist bingo. 1, unlikable personality. 2, guess the protagonist haircut. And 3, isn't likable until about 10 episodes in.
Like, he does have a lot of good focus episodes, but it feels a bit more scatterbrained in what they want to portray Leon as until episode 13, where they actually buckle down and focus on what kind of character he's going to be. Like, it feels a little inconsistent until then.
And it's not that the show doesn't like put in like good examples of why he's like this. Yeah, we understand, but understanding and a reason is not an excuse.
Yep.
Reasons are not excuses to me. And especially when literally so far every other character is way more interesting. His dad, Alfonso, Emma. Frankly, I wanted to see more of that one character in episode 3, and like just so far every other character is just way more interesting than the main character. And that's kind of one of my things where like if the main character is not as interesting, I start kind of like going, oh great, fun. It's just one of my big like pet peeves of where the main character, the only thing cool about them is what they do, not who they are.
All right, is there any other talking points you guys want to add before we go to the episode by episode breakdown?
Nothing I can think of. I mean, I had one thing, but I think that can be said when we start talking about the first episode.
Okay.
I pretty much gave him my like overall things. Like as we all mentioned, I'm the person that focuses more on characterization, so I think I put my big two cents in there already.
All right. Well, let's move on to the episode by episode breakdown. Episode 1, Hellfire. A baby is born from a woman currently being burned at the stake before being spirited away from a man in well-animated CG wolf armor and a magic armored horse. Fast forward 17 years, and we see irresponsible father Herman give exposition to the whore he is bedding as pillow talk. He sends his son Leon to their temporary abode before the whore is revealed as a horror that he kills. Another horror attacks his son, an epic battle ensues, and episode end. So, what's first episode impressions?
Well, they definitely go hard.
Immediately right away, Iris and I were talking afterwards, and we were thinking, who has the darkest origin story beginning? Guts or this guy from GARO?
Okay, Guts has the darker like origin story as a whole, but Most Metal Birth that's a contest.
Yeah, Most Metal Birth is what I meant to say.
Yeah. Like, Guts was born from a fucking corpse hanging in a tree. Leon was born from his mom burning at the stake.
Who has the more metal birth? You decide in the comments.
You're just going to open a floodgate, and then people are going, well, actually, this character from this show has the most in there. We're just going to see a whole bunch of that stuff now. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Well, like, first impressions, like, it does really well in, like, introducing the conflict, the main characters, and the main antagonists, like, right off the bat, like, you know, like most, like, first episodes are supposed to do. The first episode is never the best, but it is a rather good first opening, because, you know, it's got a lot of good fight scenes, it's got a lot of good character introductions. I forget Leon's dad's name, even though I like him better. Herman.
I'm having trouble remembering any of these characters' names, so I totally get it.
I'm just going to call him not Werewolf Daddy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but like him immediately, because, like, yes, it's pillow talk, but I also get a pretty good inkling that he knew and just was seeing how far this thing would go before it revealed its hand.
Also, tangent, like, he says, like, literally my favorite line ever in, like, any show.
Wait! Beloved fruit of my loins!
Look, this is going to sound really weird, but I got some... It's not just because of the giant chest bush on, like, the massive amount of chest hair he has, I promise. But that whole scene before the demon is revealed to be a demon, or the horror is revealed to be a horror, you know what I mean. That whole bit felt like an exchange out of Austin Powers. Like, it literally felt like it could have come out of Austin Powers. And that is not a bad thing, because Austin Powers is hilarious.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
But, and then, you know, we get, like, the good, oh, okay, so the witches and the people who use magic are not the bad guys, of course. It's just a case of the wrong person is in power and, you know, using his influence to trick the leaders into believing, oh, yes, these are bad things. We need to murder them.
She's a witch, burner!
To put further salt in the wound, Makai Knights and Makai Alchemists are forbidden by their code of honor to not harm innocent humans.
Yeah, they get a wrong deal.
Yeah. Because they're supposed to be humanity's protectors, so they are, like, by their own laws, not allowed to harm, like, seriously harm other humans.
Overall, yeah, I think it was a good opening. Interesting effects. The CGI kind of threw me off a little bit at first, I won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because just sometimes it kind of looked maybe a little clunky at the still frames rather than the action ones. Kind of almost Ruby-esque, but with a higher budget.
Yeah. This was produced around, I want to say, 2012, 2013, if I recall correctly. Editor Me put in the actual, like, production year.
I want to say that this show is a lot older than I thought it was originally. I thought it was like 2016 or 2017.
Nah, man.
When did 2012 become old?
When it became 10 years, when it became a decade ago.
What's that, Sonny?
Okay, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can say for episode 1.
All right. Episode 2, Divine Flame. Herman and Leon come across a priest and his posse torturing women, the current one being a Makai alchemist, Emma Guzman. They attempt to rescue her, but the priest transforms to a horror. Leon tries to kill it, but he has his PTSD triggered and has to be calmed down by his dad, while Emma is the one who kills the horror. In the B-plot, the Queen of Valiante is accused of poisoning her husband by the big bad Mendoza, and good boy Alfonso has to go into hiding while his mom gets sent to prison.
Real quick question. Why are all the good boys named Alphonse or Alfonso?
I don't know. Ask the writing community in Japan's anime sector, okay?
Just wanted to say that real quick.
This is really where I started to kind of get into it. Like, I was really getting into the series. I mean, Leon was, again, ticking another box on the cliche anime protagonist bingo, because now he has a superpowered evil side, but we can get to that when we get to that later.
It's not exactly superpowered evil side. It's more like his PTSD makes his powers go out of control.
Yeah, I understand that, but like it's similar. It's a similar trope to the superpowered evil side, so that's why I was using that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I was really starting to get into it, especially when Alfonso showed up, and I loved that whole bit where they were about to execute that guy for accidentally breaking the sigil.
Whip him.
Oh, whip him. Sorry, They were just about to...
But not just. Whipping's hard.
The point is, it was a punishment that did not fit the crime. They were about to beat this guy for just breaking a sigil, and Alfonso shows how he has the potential to be a great leader by just being like, dudes, it's just a fucking piece of tin. Look, see, I'll break it too. And I really liked that scene, and that immediately sold me on Alfonso as a character, which is why it was really sad to me, and it really kind of hit me. It made me be like, oh, what? When he gets betrayed like he does, because I was immediately like, admittedly, I probably should have seen that coming, because I was like, perfect character who's a really nice guy and just wants to help. How are they going to screw him over? But like, even still, like, even despite being able to see it coming, it still hits you. And I'm just like, really concerned for this guy, and I just hope everything turns out all right. But yeah, I was arguably more interested in the B plot than I was in the A plot for this. So
understandable.
I was gonna say I agree. I'm more interested in Alfonso, and it is nice to see that. Okay, the rulers with the whole witch hunt thing, because they aren't so much paranoid or evil; they're just idiots. They're good leaders to their people by the looks of it. Because the queen even says to her husband, your son has our ideals. He's going to be a great leader. Like, oh, okay, so they actually raised him to be this kind. They're just stupid.
Because they trust Mendoza.
They're just stupid. Just like, it's like the Sultan in Aladdin, you know? Great guy. Like, I'm going to hire the creepy guy.
With the snake staff.
Another point of contention that's also admittedly kind of funny. Yes, the villain, so far the main villain, very much falls into the category of, gee, I wonder who the bad guy is.
It's the love child of Frollo and Jafar, apparently.
Right?
Not wrong.
Also, Wei was way more interested in Emma. Emma's a really cool character. I like her. I like that she has a bit of a Spanish side, as she calls them Chico and stuff. Like, ooh, nice.
The entire setting for this place takes place in like a fantasy Spain. That's why everyone has. That's why everyone has like Spanish names and shit.
See, I didn't know that.
They don't normally do Spain, or it's usually like, Germany or England or something.
Yeah, that's why like Leon Luis Herman. It's spelled German, but it's Herman.
Yeah, gotcha. As I said, just way more interested in the side characters and in the prince character. And I think I'm just gonna say this: Mendoza revealed his hand way too fucking early, like way too early to me.
Episode 2.
fucking 2. You should have at least tried to like frame the prince as a bad guy or something. Otherwise, people are just gonna look to him as a martyr, or it's like a fucking unsung hero. Especially if he's such a good guy. Come on, dude.
Whereas right away he's just like, "Yep, this is my plan. Here's what I'm going to do. Have fun."
Well, to be fair, he also controls the flow of information, and this is like medieval Spain, so he controls the narrative here.
That's very fair. It's basically his word goes, so.
We also learn a bit more about the lore about the show. Like, there's like this little girl character who's kind of like in charge of the Makai Knights and Alchemists. And apparently we find out for sure that there'll never be a female one because it can only be passed down through sons.
I want to say that's a product of fucking 2006 writing, and I fucking hate it.
God, come on. Let a girl be the Red Ranger. Come on.
Every single fucking GARO series has like the coolest, most badass female character that kicks ass ever. We've had Jabi, we've had Rekka. Oh, let them have the cool armor too.
Yeah, that'll never happen because girls are yucky, apparently.
Come on, look, Japan, you've done it before. Look at Maka Albarn and Soul Eater. You've done main girl characters really well before.
Ryuko Matoi and Kill la Kill.
Yeah, exactly. You make badass women, let them be in the shiny armor. Who cares if you don't get your fan service? Trust me, your fans will make their own fan service. They do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's our rough takes, is that we're getting more of the lore. And we're getting introduced to some really cool characters, really, that are going to probably definitely be part of the plot and progress it in a lot of ways.
So I just want to explain a few things because like one of my other gripes about this show, it does a really piss poor job of explaining a lot of the greater world lore. It feels more like they expect the GARO fans to really watch it and understand everything, and it kind of leaves like newer watchers in the dust, especially because like this is like the first GARO thing that was ever officially translated, so it's like everyone, like most people in the West, first time seeing all of this shit. So like the little girl in the Watchdog Center, those are like basically the centers where the headquarters of the Makai Knights of that particular region. There's like one in like a whole bunch of different regions that can only be magically accessed, and that's where they get their orders. This horror is around, you gotta go kill it and find it and shit. Yeah, that's how that works.
But that was something I forgot to mention in my breakdown of episode 1. Like, the pace is lightning fast, like faster than I expected, partly because, again, we're like, how many series in? Like 5 or 6?
This is like the 5th or 6th series.
Yeah, we're like 5 series is in, and they expect returning fans to know all this stuff, but a newcomer like me, as you stated before, was kind of left in the dust. I was just like, wait, what? Makai Knights? Armor? Huh? CG Lion?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I do agree with you. I think, in my opinion, Alfonso is the true main character for the first half of the show.
I definitely got that vibe.
We're way more like invested in what he's going through than Leon's fucking Monster of the Week shenanigans. Alfonso's shit we're more like invested in because he has it's more tangible personal stakes rather than the nebulous I want to avenge my mother from Leon.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we see it happen in like real time, and he gets way more like character like development than Leon does in these first 12.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Alphonse, like, he's just they give him such, like, it's not a lot of time, admittedly, but that scene where he breaks the sigil is just such a good scene. Like,
Powerful scene.
It's a powerful scene. Like, it establishes his character, it establishes the kind of person he is, it establishes his morals, it establishes the kind of leader he wants to be in such a short amount of time, just like 5 minutes, and it's done so well.
All right, and anything else you guys want to add?
No, because we still got one more episode to go through.
All right,
I got one more thing, actually.
go ahead.
I just want to say that Emma's still badass, and I'm digging the garrote wire thread thing that she has going on. Like, Walter C. Dornay's vibes up in here. That was great.
It's so cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
All right. Episode 3, Zaruba. Hanuman and Leon make a detour to acquire the model ring Zaruba from an old man alchemist. The old man's apprentice kills the old man to take the ring for himself and transforms into a whore. Leon steals back the ring, forms a contract with it, and with his flames now quelled, he effortlessly slays the horror. In the B-plot, Alfonso is attacked by horrors and is saved by a mysterious Makai knight in purple armor. So, Zaruba.
Yeah, I honestly, I kind of didn't care, in all honesty, about the Zaruba thing.
Yeah, in all honesty, this episode is just basically a big, like, fan service episode to fans of GARO, because Zaruba has basically been in every single GARO series as the partner to whoever wields the golden armor in that continuity, except for, I think, GARO versus Road, but I haven't finished it yet, so I'm not 100% sure.
Well, it's no wonder that Heather and I didn't get much out of that plot then. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier, about how for fans of the series, this is great, but for newcomers, it doesn't do much.
Well, even as a newcomer, I get the prospect. You know, okay, so apparently the golden armor has like it's powerful, but it needs like something additional to help control it. So they have to form a contract with the demon. Okay, cool. I'm just thinking of Yu Yu Hakusho, basically, and it's just kind of like there weren't really. It's hard to explain. It's not boring, but at the same time, it's just kind of. Oh, okay, so rather than him, like, learning to conquer this power just by going through his issues, I'm sure he's going to do that anyway, but, like, I was just kind of I would have, like, liked it more if, like, you know, the whole power thing that was uncontrollable wasn't so much fixed by forming a demon contract, rather than him just, like, a good way of showing, hey, here's how to help people through PTSD or their issues kind of thing.
Like if it was a mental barrier he had to overcome.
Yeah, rather than, okay, I just need to give him a ring.
Yeah, well, the ring is kind of a stopgap measure just to keep the flames from doing shit, but yeah, I do agree. We could have done with, like, an episode of him at least trying to, like, find inner peace before like, putting the Zaruba solution on.
Yeah, if it's the fact, again, it was the third episode. If it was more that, like, he was trying or that he was, like, refusing the ring, like, no, I want to do this on my own. And if it was just something that even once he gets, like, you know, mentally healthy or something, it still wasn't enough, that would be different. That'd be, okay, this is just a codependent relationship, no ifs, ands, or buts. That would have been more powerful to me. Because then, like, you know, and then they could have, like, taken maybe at least like 3 episodes to explain, like, okay, so this is why it's always like this, why it always has to be like this. You can't be the one.
I think if they took some time in episode 2, like, not just to show Leon, like, with the flame markings, but also trying to overcome them on his own, just, like, one small scene there, it would have helped.
It would have helped, and it's, again, just the pacing is really quick. And it's not even that it wouldn't necessarily even take that much time. You'd show, not tell.
Like I said, just like one scene in episode 2 would have probably helped.
That's the biggest issue and point of contention for me, is just like, I mean, I hate it when things are slowly paced. If it's moving at a glacier's pace, it's just like, oh, I get it. You need the time, but just get a move on already. So I appreciate that it's very quickly paced, but at the same time, it's leaving me in the dust. It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
I would forgive it if it was like, at first I was thinking maybe this is just like, you know, because some anime series are like the first season's 13 episodes. So at first I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just like a 13 episode long season or something. And then Iris told us that's not the case. Like, oh, okay.
It technically is and technically isn't, because like the first first 12 episodes are basically a self-contained story. And yes, the following like 13 are like a continuation of it, but it changes its writing style and point characters so significantly that it almost feels like it was written separately and then added on. In a good way. Like we have the way the story and the sequel, and that's how that feels. But yeah, it feels to me like these first 12 episodes were in like, okay, you're only gonna have 12 episodes, but then partway through, like, okay, we're gonna have more. Oh, okay. Well,
feels very Legend of Korra.
Yeah, but in a better way than how Korra did it. Just as someone who's seen the whole series.
But yeah, just that's my biggest thing, is just that with this, I was way more invested again. We're way more interested in the prince at the very end. Like, oh, there he is. And then
he had 2 minutes of screen time and we're already more invested.
Sorry, like, I liked the professor guy. I wish he kind of lived longer, because, I kind of like, those crotchety science guys who, I was a little hard on his assistant, but sometimes they're hard on them to, like, hey, look, I believe in you. You just need to toughen up. This is tough love. Come on. Learn to have a backbone. And the guy didn't. The guy did not have a backbone.
It also made just for a nice like minor shock of when the apprentice kills old Gael and takes the ring. Like a minor shock. Nah,
not even that, because we just met the guy.
I know.
If it was like maybe the next episode or two,
it might have hit harder.
Yes. Especially, like, what would have been better is Leon refusing the ring. And so, but they're not leaving the area yet, because, like, his dad's like, okay, we're not leaving until you get that ring on. And maybe Leon trying to, like, get the power under his own, and the assistant still just staring at the ring that's in, like, that would have been better. Like, him trying, and then, like, maybe the professor giving some words of wisdom. And then in the next episode, shit hits the fan.
See, I want to point out that there's actually a similar episode to this in the first series of GARO, where the wielder of the armor in that continuity, Koga Saejima, goes to meet with an old priest to like maintain Zaruba and make sure he's working perfectly and shit. And they spend that whole episode like talking to each other, playing like a fucking weird magic version of chess. And basically doing a recap series, but it's instead of like just recapping, it's like Koga just like going through like what he's done in the past like 13-ish episodes before that one. And then the episode ends, and then like a couple episodes later, we hear, oh yeah, that old guy you met a couple episodes ago, yeah, he just got assassinated, and someone's after you, man. And that's what made that hit harder, because they spaced it out a little bit. I agree with you. They compressed it a little too much in here and could have like drawn it out to make it a little more interesting. And I can tell you that there's like some episodes in here that are filler enough that we probably could have removed those plots, added like make this one like a 2-episoder, and it would have been so much better for like the pacing of the series.
Third episodes can usually make or break you on like where you have the audience. So personally for me, this one was weaker in the fact that I wasn't like, oh hey, pretty nice blonde boy, there you are, how are you doing? And I'm more curious about the Purple Knight, maybe just because I like the color purple, and I'm like, that's an interesting color. And yeah, just basically I kind of just was, I admit, looking for, all right, when is this episode over? As we were watching it.
Just like checking the timestamp.
As a Legacy fan, I was excited to see Zaruba having so much importance and shit, because I love Zaruba. Like he's like he's the snarky best friend thing that I really like. But non-Legacy fans, I can see exactly why, and we've all pointed it out here.
Yeah, like for Legacy fans, it's like, hey, it's that guy. But for newcomers, why should we care?
Oh, by the way, for anyone who's seen Spy Family, Zaruba's voice actor, Master Henderson from Spy Family.
Elegant!
Elegant. Same actor in the dub.
Nice.
All right, so where are we with the series? Do we want to, keep watching it? How are we feeling on it?
I am honestly indifferent. It's like, I don't mind if we continue, but I definitely don't know if I can continue too long. Just because, I don't know how far I'll go into it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I also don't mind if we move on to something else. It's really just kind of one of those things in where, yeah, I really like these characters, but I have to deal with that character a while longer.
Yeah.
It's like kind of that thing like, oh yeah, like it's pretty, I don't want to mention Sasuke again, but it's pretty much like with Shippuden, like, oh hey, I love seeing Naruto's growth. Oh fuck, we're gonna have to deal with Sasuke again.
Yeah. At least in that series, Sasuke was the B plot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what made me go through it. Like, he's the B plot.
Naruto has grown as a character while Sasuke remains stagnant.
Until the very, very end.
And in this one, we have to, Leon's dad, cool guy. Leon still kind of sucks. And I'm like, I'm indifferent. So I will, I'm not one way or the other. I will refer to what you guys want to do. All
right, Bowtie, what are you feeling?
If I were to watch it again, it'd probably be on my own time and not for this show. Like, I'm sorry, I know you were really excited for it, and I liked what I saw, I really did, but it just, as good as the things that I liked were, it just didn't really grab me,
That's fair. So you're voting the no and we go to the wheel?
I say we go to the wheel, yes.
Yeah, I'm with Bowtie on this one. I think I could watch it separately on my own because then I can fast forward the scenes I don't care about.
Very fair.
Like I do with Naruto.
It is available on Amazon, and I do have the Blu-ray, so...
Yeah.
I wish it was available on Crunchyroll. I'm glad that something has it, but it has Vanishing Line, which is the third anime series, which is weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to the wheel.
To the wheel.
As a recap, since we're going to the wheel, Iris's choices have been removed. So that way it's going to be a new choice every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to the wheel. Let's see who gets lucky. Is it going to be one of Bowtie's or one of mine? Yeah.
All right, time to spin the wheel. I'm just going to keep clicking and somebody tells me stop clicking.
Stop.
I'm just letting it go now. We're gonna watch Redline!
Woo!
Is that a show or a movie?
It's a movie.
Movie.
Ah, dang it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you said movies weren't off the table!
I didn't say that, but Iris did!
You never disagreed to it, though.
No one ever asked me!
I thought I did, I'm sorry!
No!
At least there's no continuing this, and the next one will be either yours or my option, Heather.
No, I know. It's just if I don't like the movie halfway through, I can't just say I'm done.
Sorry.
Unlike with the show.
I'm sorry.
Well, then at least next time, it's for sure going to be one of mine.
All right, so that's all for this week. Join us next time when we watch Redline, available on Amazon Prime Video.